idea for the garden started at least as far back as 2010. And the garden actually got started planting, building beds, building boxes 2011, January 2011. We planted our first cabbages and broccoli and winter crops. The families that are active at the garden come with their children. So it's really been amazing to see them get excited, pulling up carrots, cutting broccoli, onions. So I think it's been a good thing.
For the community garden project, more than to just create a sign for people to notice the garden, is to give them a place where they can be and relax. Is to create a reference point within the neighborhood so that neighbors can meet. Additionally, we want to emphasize community engagement, and so we give them a place where they can place bulletin boards about information of the know about the garden. We designed a structure that rather than stands out from the community, it blends in, so that way it feels as if it's always been here.
We decided for the street for Acacia that the larger structure needed to serve more as shading. That was the gathering area for more of the gardeners. And then we decided to put the smaller structure on the other end on the street that got more traffic, just to kind of grab attention. Not as much for shading, but let people know that there's a community garden in the area.
Wood we thought was kind of a natural, kind of obvious choice that blended in with the surrounding environment of the garden. And we wanted to introduce like a contemporary material, and so we chose galvanized steel. There's hints of it throughout the garden. So we really wanted to kind of incorporate a more like modern aesthetic with the kind of traditional stick frame craftsman type style.
The shading was something that we wanted to be much lighter, so it'll sit on top of everything else. And the progression of materials really goes from heavy to light. So we start with something at the bottom that's fairly heavy, which is the gabion wall. Which is stone, and then you go to some fairly massive columns, and after the columns you get to beams, and then eventually the EMT shading, which is very light shading on top. So you know the materials are really chosen by this progression of heavy to light.
It seemed like everyone in the community really came together on the days that they come and work on the garden, and as a class I think we realized that with our two structures, it would bring people together not only to get a better sense of the scheduling, but how the people come together and share all these plants and planters and collect all the vegetables.
I really believe that if you don't make things practical and easy for people, then they don't do it. So I think that having community gardens, you know, as centrally located inside of a community as possible, within walking distance ideally, for people to be able to access this on a daily basis or a weekly basis, it's incredibly important. But at the same time, I think that it also, I also think it motivates people when they see a piece of land that has been, you know, vacant or basically atrophied come back to life. So I think that urban farms actually bring life to our urban landscape and create, you know, food forests in the middle of food deserts, which is really nice.